it'll be interesting to see how Rock are going to react to this. Now, they seem to be concentrating majority of their energy into going for C here, but it's how they go around the side. They need to get to the other flags. They need to start being more fluid. Dignitas can play this trading game all day, but they have the lead, so they can. Rock, on the other hand, need to be able to get a hold and at least grey out a flag, which is what they're doing over in A, and that's David 2K6.
Now,
with the important capture there.
Of course. Now, obviously, we're watching David. He's moving out. And you can see he's taken down Corey Yu, but also there's two members over by Core, and he's trying to spray a little bit of fire down onto them and trying to take a defensive position to see if he can actually hold that flag. So David 2K6 overlooking that area, Bite Me Ya moving over to make sure that those members of Dignitas are now dead, just to make sure that they don't get any kind of revive train going. And
but Masu there came in and basically just took B for Dignitas by going 2-on-1 and taking them all out. Dignitas here holding on to C and B, which seem to be their go-to flags, and seem to be just absolutely overwhelming Rock here in the initial stages of the game.
Yeah, it looks that way now. Obviously, we're watching Masu at the moment. He's over on the right-hand side. He's looking over towards the likes of where Horek is at the moment. Now, he's just got taken down in the window, so there's Valu taken down, and Akosh also in that area. But it's interesting to notice that they haven't actually noticed that spawn beacon, because they haven't actually been able to get in there and survive for long enough to actually focus their attention and take it down. So do you think then that the not the spawn beacon but the tug sensor is actually giving the Dignitas team an advantage?
Only time will tell, but I think it's definitely helping them when they can end up spotting any movement onto a flag that they're definitely holding as a linchpin in their defences here. Obviously, I think it just went down there. It was taken out by David, who seems to be always in the right place at the right time when I'm looking. But as soon as they move into a flag, Dignitas None here is instantly on C and capturing it here. There's going to be a 2-on-2 firefight here, which Rock will probably win. Yes, they do indeed. So they capture C, but while this is going on, Dignitas still have two flags. They can play this game. They've got the ticket bleed going, and they can do this all day. It's Rock at this point really need to get a hold of a flag and hold it for a while. They need to get the tickets back up to their level, back up to make it even.
Yeah, that definitely appears to be the case. Now, obviously, you've got Bite Me Ya who's trying to defend. As there goes Valu, taken down by a Nick High explosive.
Out two here.
Yeah,
Very
that was
well played there.
That was Akosh there doing a good job. Oh, grenades all over the place. There seems to be a lot of explosions going on around that B capture point at the moment. As we're watching Henker as he's moving in towards that next point. A little bit of off the hip fire. And let's just see as he's then taken down very quickly as he's trying to defend that B point. As fortunately Dignitas Nure comes in and he is in a position to hold that flag. Or hold that point, and now you can see him moving out of the way. He's down a little bit low on health, but now you can see Dignitas, now they've got these two flags, they're healing up, and they're getting ready to move in on that final point. But Rock Horek takes down one of the Dignitas team members, and he's looking for the enemies, and then unfortunately spies him a little bit too late and gets taken out. So now you can see Bite Me Ya. Oh, Bite Me Ya going clutch, taking down a couple of members of Dignitas there, over by one of the nearby the A-bomb site. But unfortunately he's not in a position to help anybody, as now he's just spraying down fire onto the Dignitas team who are pushing in towards the A-bomb site. That's Masu now looking to get a full bleed onto that point, but unfortunately for them you can see Rock, Akosh, and also you can see Horek, I think it is, David 2K6 now moving in to try and take that point away from the Dignitas team.
Very important thing just happened over at A. This is exactly what they need. Corey Yu came in as Dignitas were trying to capture A. He managed to pick them off, and he just took out another two people from Dignitas. This pretty much means they hold A and C. This is what they've needed from the beginning of the game. Now, how long can they hold this bleed up? We don't know. But for the first time in the game, Core have a kind of stabilized front line here. But it's A where it's going to be the hammer is being dropped by Dignitas, and how is Core going to react with only David 2K and himself being there to defend?
Yeah, as you can see, obviously, Nuri being taken down. There's Corey Yu moving in. He gets finished off, but David 2K6 is also in there as well. He's trying to sneak in a little bit of a cap, but got shut down very quickly. Now, the trouble is, obviously, you've got the random respawn for Henker. That's turned out pretty well. You can see Masu spawning on him, and now Akosh is trying to move in and try and take that point back, because now the bleed will not be in their favour, so they need to get back in there as quickly as possible, which is what they're doing. A little bit of spam coming in. There we go, takes them down. And it looks like that point has then been taken, and now they're trying to get out of the way of those grenade explosions as they are coming in from all directions, as the bleed is now back onto the Russian team. Not looking good for Rock at the moment. Dignitas essentially playing their game.
What happened over at A was very important. Two men were managed to hold a 5-man from Dig for a significant amount of time. Now, they eventually lost that fight at A, but they managed to bleed out Dignitas quite a little while that was going on. It basically, at this point now, Dignitas have such a lead, but as long as they can just contest one flag and hold another, they will probably take this round.
Okay.
It was interesting that Tog Sensor was down in one of the more central houses in the game. Obviously, now without being out of the way, the house is up for grabs by either side. It caught Valo out quite badly when he was up there before. He was defending B successfully until he got caught in the rear. Without that sensor, it's very difficult to hold that flag.
Very much so. Very much so indeed. Now, you can see, obviously, the Rock team moving into that B site. And now you can see them trying to get a full bleed if possible, but unfortunately for them, Masu is over by one of the other points. He is in the process of recapturing that, and so it looks like the attempt there by the Rock team to push in towards that B-bomb site got completely and utterly cut to pieces. Not looking good for them. David 2K6 moving in, and it's not looking good for them. The Rock team, essentially, that was their last attempt at a serious push into the B-bomb site, and they were effectively shut down by Dignitas.
At this point, they really just need to bring the tickets down as low as they can. It's all to play for. It's all about making sure that next round they can get a kind of lead like Dignitas had. And they can do it. I mean, right now, we're only talking about 99 tickets. If they can do that next round, then that's all that matters. And I'm sure they're going to bring that down again soon. It is a very good possibility here that Rock could keep the bleed going.
Yeah.
It all depends on if Dignitas gets sloppy here in trying this in this cleanup. They know they're ahead, but they can't be sloppy and just give away flags here. They only have one flag right now, and the bleed is against them. Do they get messy, or do they get this serious and try and finish up this round in a dominating fashion?
Well, that's the question. It's going to be interesting to see what's going on as we're looking at the... Here we go. Looks like the Rock Akash is capturing that final point, and there's going to be a full bleed onto the China team. This is not really what Dignitas are looking for. However, they looks like they might go into force, which is exactly what they've done, into the C point. So you can see Valu there moving in and popping out the nades. Down goes the Tugs. He's a Tug's life, and now we're on to the next point. As you can see, the B point now being pushed in. You notice that Dignitas are actually moving more of a cohesive group into the B bomb site than they previously did.
They got sloppy at the end there. They thought the game was over. They thought they had it, and Rock made them pay by over 40 tickets almost. I mean, that is serious good play by Rock and really sloppy by Dig, but they managed to get the hold of the flag here right now, and I think that is pretty much round one to Dig, but with not as many tickets as they possibly could have had.
Now, obviously, that's thing is, it means then that the Team Rock is actually closer to Dignitas than they actually would have liked, or say, well, that they were maybe expecting. And that makes things a little bit more difficult as far as Dignitas are concerned. They're going to have to come out with an extremely dominant display in the next round to ensure that they actually get round that deficit of, the advantage of 62 tickets. It's going to be interesting to see how things turn out, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. They had a significant lead there, and I think really, maybe the spawns weren't quite in their favour, but really they should have shut that out with at least 90 to 100 tickets. Rock didn't give up. They didn't give up hope. They knew what they had to do. They knew they had to bring that ticket difference down, and they did it in spectacular fashion. I think some clutch plays near the end of the game from both Core and Baitya Bite Me Yeah, managing to take out Dignitas in 2v1s in multiple occasions, but in critical locations. Obviously, there's a lot of high scoring on the Dig side here, and they were generally more effective in a group. But yeah, sloppy play at the end, but other than that, Dignitas dominated majority of that game.
Okay, so we're obviously on to the next round. We'll have to wait and see what happens, as obviously let's just check the bracket and find out what the next map is, or what maps have been chosen as part of this matchup. Now, for those of you who are suffering lag on the stream, I do apologise, guys. It seems my internet connection might be crapping out. I can't even actually load a browser window at the moment. Oh, God. No, I'm not on them. Okay, right, so Hainan Resort, apparently. But I could be wrong. No, that's a status closed. We're on to the next one, I guess. It just hasn't updated. So anyway, we're on to the next round, Dogbert. How are you seeing them going this time?
This map is, once again, Dig are holding C and B, which was what they were doing in the last game. They have put another sensor right down the middle of the map. Now, I don't know how much of that is an actual big tactic, but either way, they are doing it quite a lot, and it seems to be a part of their strategy early on. But Dig are doing their usual. Whenever they are losing a flag, they switch position and try and attack the undefended flag. How Rock are defending? They're doing quite well. They managed to shut down Dig's push onto A here. But by doing that, they lost attack on C. So Dig are they're picking their battles and they're winning them. And that's really, really good for Dignitas early on, considering they're already on a lead of 62 points. And once again, they are in the lead with 193 to 171. Dignitas right now really just have to keep control of the map. Keep this defense line, keep the C and B on their side, keep the bleed going, and it's Rock that really has to pull something out the bag here. Yeah,
looking at away at the moment, as you can see, Value making his way around towards one of the back flags. Try and make sure that the area is relatively secure. Now you can see Nure moving in towards the next point, and they're going to be trying to capture that point, possibly getting a full bleed, but it looks like they're not going to get it, as Bite Me Yeah from Rock is moving in, and looks like they're going to be capturing that point, as we've been watching him as he's trying to defend that C point, recently being captured, revives one of his teammates and now moves out. So we're waiting to see what's going on as the B point just started flashing. There we go, the Rock has now started to, the Rock team has started to try and pull that point, as we're watching Corey Yu getting into a battle with Dignitas Nure, and Corey Yu fortunately is still alive as far as we can see, and he is still sniffing around that area around B, but it looks like the Dignitas team have decided to go pretty hardcore for C point and ensure its capture, and now try and get that bleed off, as they're now pushing and contesting for point B. Dogbert.
Dignitas here, their go-to flags are C and B. They contest B whenever it looks like they might be in trouble, hoping to bait as many of the Rock players to kind defend A. When they do this, they instantly make sure that they never overcommit to one flag. Obviously, that they didn't quite manage to take B there, but that is their general strategy. Never overcommit and try and let Rock make the mistake of putting too many people in the wrong place. And I think that the sensor has gone down for the third time in this competitive game of BF4. I'm waiting to see if this is actually going to become a useful strategy in the future.
Nure unfortunately being taken down by a grenade thrown by Corey Yu, as he's now moving over towards the A bomb capture point, and now you can see him as he is moving towards that point and looking to try and capture it. There we go, taking down one of the members of Dignitas, as he then moves in to try and get additional cover, as he's trying to go for a quick revive on one of his teammates, and something's just happened to the server.
There was a quick move.
I just got dumped off the server.
Oh, okay, well, I'll tell you what's going on. I will shoutcast old style here. Over on A, Dignitas had 2 people. They went up against 4 and managed to only get 2, but they were shut out quite quickly. Dignitas used that lull to capture C and then pushed on to B. Right now, Dignitas are well ahead, only ahead by about 10 tickets, and that is coming down quickly. Rock now have got a full cat. All 3 flags are in their hand. Dignitas are pushing on to C, but Rock are the ones who have a significant amount of flags, and soon they will go ahead in the ticket lead via a very mid-game bleed on Dignitas. Dignitas now look like they're probably going to make a push on to B, but they aren't. But it looks like Rock are anticipating a push on A and not really sending enough to B to defend it, which is probably a mistake, as Dignitas right now know that they only have to get 1 more flag, and they do that and they capture B by overwhelming force. Majority of Rock was still hanging around A, expecting a push there, or at least maybe a scout out. By doing the same, but they're now going to try and do that to the Dignitas side. They know they're clustered around B, so they're probably going to try and make a push over to C. But meanwhile, Null is just taking Rock players for a stroll and dumping them in the trash can.
Right, well, I'm back on the server, but I keep losing connection to Twitch because Twitch is a wonderful system which I love deeply. So my apologies to those people who are trying to watch. And because of the technical problems that we've been experiencing, I'm starting to get a little bit miffed. But never mind, these things happen. You are obviously listening to the Battlefield 4 5v5 Domination Test Cup with Dignitas and Team Rock going up against each other. And he's been casted by, of course, myself and Mr.Dogbert. So, as you can see, we're back in the map again, and now you can see, look at those tickets, how close they are. What's been going on? This is quite a bit of a turnaround as far as I can see, Dogbert.
It is indeed. At first, Dignitas had pretty much been in the driving seat for the first few minutes of the game. They were managing to hold on to C and B and doing a very, very good job of it. But what's happened now is Rock have started to they realise they need to pick up the game. Dignitas are 62 points ahead, remember, from the previous round. So Rock really need to keep control for as long as they can. They need to just hold 2 flags and get the bleed. If they can do that for long enough, Dignitas will lose this round and go into the next map. But right now, Rock is still holding on to their 2 flags. Dig are all over C, but now it's a rush back to B to defend, where Dignitas have constantly been making their presence felt, but not always succeeding in the flag capture.
Now we're looking at Massa at the moment. He gets taken down from behind, as it looks like we're also watching Giggly. Oh God, I don't even know how I'm going to pronounce that. We just call him Giggly. It's much easier in that respect. So we're looking at David 2K6. He's now also moving in towards that B point to try and ensure that it stays on the side of the Chinese. Now it looks like, oh, this is interesting to see. It looks like now you've got a lot of pushing going on, as we're looking like a complete wipe there by Team Dignitas. And now they're going to try and get that C point back. They literally had a full burn on them just for a second. And now it's looking like the Rock team doing a fantastic job of holding those 2 points and going quite aggressively.
But they are completely out of position here on this B flag. Dignitas are going to be able to capture 2 flags here if they're very quick. As I say that, it looks like 4 people for Rock have turned up on the point, but it's still now in the hands of Dignitas. Now it's how Dignitas redeploy to hold or defend C or B. Do they get aggressive and go for A as well, or do they just hold on to B and C? Masu there really just shut down Horek as he came into C, and this is pretty much now Dignitas trying to regain the lead and just bring it to a close.
Yeah, now you can see obviously 90 tickets to 78. You can see now Dignitas Masu trying to defend that C point, as you've got multiple members of the Rock moving into that point. Horek at the moment, as I need to pause the cough. Now moving in, Malu being taken down by Horek. Jesus Christ, I'm coughing my guts up. Can you take over a second, please, Dogbert?
Yeah, no problem, mate. Massive there just cleaned up at the C point, and Dignitas are going to take over in the ticket lead once again. While Rock came in to attack C and B, Nonna was there to shut him out of B, and the other 4 members that came in at C were slowly but surely picked off and destroyed by Dignitas. When they respawned, they managed to get over to A, but Dignitas, in the meantime, had fighting over B and C, had captured A to get a full domination cap. That put their ticket lead way above Rock. And at this point now, Rock are about to lose this map. They've already lost it in tickets, so at this point, really, it's just trying to get as much as they can and try and make sure that they win the next map in dominating fashion. They've got the bleed back in their favour. No, they didn't. Walu came in and cleaned up. That's 2 men down. Can he make it free? No, he can't. Just taken down by David there, who always seems to be the person I click on whenever I'm looking.
That's better.
Nona comes in, take down 1. Is he going to finish it up? Is he going to be able to take Baitu? It doesn't look like he... Oh, no. Baitu holding on to B. This is a pretty fluid fight around B. Everyone is piling in more and more men. It is becoming the Stalingrad of this map.
Nice reference, as you can now see. Oh, fire coming in from Bite Me Yard, taking down 2 members of Dignitas as they're trying to push into that point. But more fire coming in, as you can see Rock and Dignitas now fighting over this C point. Now, I notice, obviously, that's quite strange, is you're not seeing any members of the Rock team actually going for that final C point. But it looks to be defended by at least a single member, as now you can see the Rock team actually appear to be on the roof. And now they're looking to capture that point back, but 39 tickets remaining, 63 tickets for Team RU, and that's the Dignitas team. So they're now in the process of capturing A. You can see obviously the Rock now in the process of trying to capture C, having a little bit of a tussle with Walu, and you can see Walu being taken down. So now Rock is in the process of capturing that point. Horek is moving in to support his teammate, and now you can see the Rock team moving in very aggressively onto the A point as the B point is being taken behind them, Dogbert. This is a very impressive display by Team Rock, I have to say. I'm very impressed.
We are seeing 2 of the top teams in BF4. We are seeing Rock and Dig showing why they are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the near future. Dignitas here may be slightly in the head, but that is only down to maybe a more tighter team play and a more... they know what goals they're going for. They seem to move quicker to flags whenever they're about to lose them than Rock is. Well, saying that, Rock right now is going to take 2 flags with B and C. But right now, Dignitas just need to make sure they don't end up being sloppy like they did in the last one and shut this game out with as many tickets as they can get.
Yeah, now at the moment it's looking like the bleed is being taken off of Russia and being reapplied to China, as you can see. But however, you can see there we go, the Dignitas team now really going hardcore for that B point, working together with 4 people, all trying to get that point. Down goes that sensor from Walu, and now you can see Bite Me Ya moving in. As you can see, then taken down very quickly as he tries to come in towards the B point. And now you can see Dignitas moving in from all directions, moving in to try and defend that point as they're down to 14 tickets, so the enemy's down to 14 tickets. More fire coming out, every single kill, cutting down a valuable ticket for the Rock team. And it's possible that they may not actually be able to get any further with this, but the bleed is now onto China. As you can see, the Dignitas team now moving into the C point. That's Masu and Nure trying to take back that C point as quickly as they possibly can. We're watching to see how they get on here, and it looks like the A point is being captured by Akosh and the other members of the Rock team, as Dignitas now moving in to take the B point. And yeah, this is round and round the circles at the moment we seem to be going here, Dogbert.
They're shutting out the game the way they should have in the first game. They know where they need to concentrate on, and they did it very effectively at the end there. So that's another 30 tickets for the Dignitas side. They obviously won 62 points in the previous one.
Indeed they did, yes. So obviously that's a total of 92.
92.
Moving into the next map. Now the next map is going to be Dawnbreaker.
Oh, I haven't seen this map yet being played competitively, so it'll be an interesting one.
It will be indeed.
It's just, there was a lot of key moments in that game where Dignitas were in very dangerous position, and they could have really not been able to take these flags back, and they ended up being maybe stuck on one for quite a significant amount of time. But the fact that they were able to get the right people in the right place at the right time was critical. They were always behind, they were always pressuring, and they had that lovely sensor which Rock was not employing at all, which I'm not 100% sure how big an impact that had, but being able to know exactly where your opponent is very important, especially if you're hiding up in a building. The ability to know either when to watch your back and when to throw a grenade is obviously the key in holding either a flag or even just capturing a flag when you're down one. It's very important.
Definitely is. Definitely is indeed. So, my apologies to those people who keep getting disconnected. Not sure what the problem is. I think it might be the ISP. I'm not 100% certain. I've been streaming up until this point without any problems, so not 100% certain what to say on that. But we're into the map already. So let's just check to make sure. Yeah, everyone's on. I think it's fair to say we're off and running already, Dogbert. These guys don't hang around, do they?
I do not think anyone's started just yet, as many players have not even spawned.
Okay, I'll let you off then.
Yeah, I'll let you off. How about that one?
Oh, right, okay.
So, yeah. I'm interested to see how this map works. I have not... obviously, I played this in a public, but in competitive play, I think this one looks like the most straightforward in holding 2 flags. But how will the spawns affect how the teams deploy and redeploy? Because it's all about how they redeploy. And are you kidding me? On a free cam, I can't go through glass?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No. Found that problem on a previous cast for Level BF, and yeah, you can't fly through glass, so you can't get your camera out until that glass gets broken.
Oh my god, really? Oh, it's so annoying. It doesn't even open elevated doors. Sorry, it doesn't even open automatic doors if I go near it. Oh,
no.
I found a way in. It's okay. There's also, I believe, some. No one used a sniper rifle actually, which I was talking about in that previous game. No, but I've seen at least. Which, to be honest, probably isn't a surprise because it's kind of fast-paced game. You die a lot. It's very difficult to keep it up. But this game on this map, sorry, I'm not sure if it's a grenade launcher or auto sniper. So I'd like to see some of the Uber unlocks being used, but I won't hold my breath.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Obviously,
I want to see the Uber grenade launcher, man. I want to see it. It's my 4th most used weapon.
It's your what, sorry?
Right, it's my 4th most used weapon, the Terminator 2 grenade launcher.
Oh, you dirty spammer.
I chased none around the public servers of it. Every time I found him, I would be just popping him, and he would leave me very aggressive messages afterwards.
Oh, Masu just knifing one of the enemy rock players. Oh, that's just mean. Hit him in the... hit him on the nose with the hilt of his dagger and then stabbed him. Just cruel, cruel behaviour there. So obviously we're just waiting for these guys to get themselves sorted. And then we should be underway as we're watching Dignitas basically destroying government property by the looks of it, as they're just going around breaking every window they can find. Which I suppose
Finns don't care. Maybe they're listening to this cast and they're like, right, Dogbert needs our help.
Yeah.
He needs all glass to be destroyed so he can actually look around.
Exactly.
And I've got to say, thank you guys. You're the best.
I noticed they haven't destroyed the TV, so they obviously approve of the programming that's being provided. So we shall see. But yeah, it is a bit silly that you can't travel through glass.
It's okay, I'm sure it's something will be fixed in the near future. Either that or glass is going to become the enemy of spectators everywhere.
Indeed it is, yes. The one weakness of spectators everywhere.
Oh, Dignitas is coming into this round with a 92 ticket lead. How that will affect how Rock is going to play it? Will they come out really aggressive here and try and get a dominating start? Or will Dignitas end up being the team that ends up thinking, well, you know what, we've got a lead here, we can try and sit back, we don't have to do anything crazy? Or are we going to see a complete reverse of that in this game? Is it going to be Rock that end up being the team that is holding the ticket advantage going into the next round?
We shall see, indeed. I'm looking forward to this battle. As you can now see, the Dignitas guys getting ready, taking the C point. And we're now watching as the Rock guys look to move, to try and take in. Looks like they tried to get in there and take that B point as quickly as possible from under the nose of Dignitas. Bite Me takes a quick trip on high explosive airways as the nade gets dropped between his legs. As Orek there, lovely nades coming in from Team Dignitas there, absolutely aimed to perfection.
Rock sent 3 people towards B. Now 2 went to A and 3 went to B. Dignitas sent 4 to B and 1 to C. while while Rock were fighting and doing quite a good job in the corridor between B, Masu came up behind them and caught them completely by surprise and wiped them. But the two men that had gone to A managed to come round the back of B, while Dignitas were busy trying to go round the back of them at B and managing to capture B.
Interesting. Interesting
Well, as soon
indeed.
as that happened, as soon as they realised B was being contested, Masu, after he just cleaned up two of the Rock players, went straight to A and captured it. And that keeps the bleed on Dignitas' side, and that's what they need right now.
Yeah, so you can see obviously both of those points, both of the points being held by the US team. So obviously Dignitas holding both of those points, and the C point being held by China. So the bleed is now on the China team, and they need to turn this around as a matter of urgency.
And unfortunately, Rock have had a disconnect during the game there. They all literally got wiped at one point. They're pushing on both B and A, and then one of their players got dropped. So that's very unfortunate from Rock, especially. I keep calling them Core. I know one player in their team, and all of a sudden it's Team Core. So yeah, it puts them in a very, very awkward situation right now. Team Dignitas here have set up their defences. They have two covering the road, which is Walu and Masu, and they're basically covering anything moving towards A and around B. Meanwhile, Dig have got their standard 3 people defending B, and it's up to Rock here to decide where they're going to commit, because at this point in time, they really need to throw as many people they have, even if it is only 4, in one direction and one direction only, because they cannot let this ticket bleed last as long as it is.
Well, the thing is also, you can see from the layout of Dignitas means that if the guys decide to push hardcore up one side, that the Dignitas team can basically then just rotate to either the left or the right and move forces into that area as quickly as possible. Now, that's obviously advantageous. Now, you'll notice that David 2K6 has returned. He's back in the server.
It was Core, who managed to get round the back of Dignitas' defences here. As you can see, Dignitas are still expecting to push from C. Now that A is about to be caught now, what are Dignitas going to do? Instant reaction here. If you're watching the minimap, 2 of their players who were defending A run back. Meanwhile, 3 players from Dignitas that were covering B rush straight into C and clean up. So that's Dignitas here, expecting to lose A and going all out on B. C and managing to capture all of them. That's just very, very solid strategic play from Dignitas there.
Yeah, now obviously Giggly, unfortunately, having to make his way back towards B. The C point then retaken by 2 members of Rock, and now they're in the process of moving up towards the B point. The B point being contested. 2 members of Dignitas are moving up towards that, so you've got Nure and Masu now. Now that's quite interesting to see. Rather than actually going for a back rage, Masu has actually gone down towards the C point to try and capture that C point. It's almost like they're actually giving up that B point in order to ensure the capture of the C point. So now you can see friends spawning on him as Bite Me Yar takes down one of the enemy Dignitas players, and now you can see them moving in towards that point. So it's looking pretty good here as far as Dignitas are concerned. 175 tickets to 111. There's still all to play for, obviously, but the Chinese team need to get this ticket bleed off them as a matter of urgency, Dogbert.
That's true, but it looks like they're going to probably take 3 flags here. Dignitas are probably going to take A, but I think Rock will end up with B and C, and probably start forming up their defensive line to try and hold the flags. What happened there was Dignitas started clustering in the house between B and C. Meanwhile, Rock were on either side of them and will be able to put fire from both directions and threaten both flags. Meanwhile, Dignitas now all have spawned over on the A building, and they're going to probably start to try and threaten onto B, but I think right now they're hoping to probably try and get around to either C or get a good spawn and take the C flag. But actually, I'm wrong. Dignitas here are going in like a sledgehammer onto B and capturing it for the ticket bleed in their favour now, with 151 to 103 to Rock.
Yeah, now obviously that difference of 92 still in Dignitas' favour, and obviously they've got around a sort of 50-53 burn or bleed difference on the US team against the Chinese team. So Dignitas is currently in control of this situation, and Rock are in trouble, and they need to turn it around as a matter of urgency, as Nura taking down Akos as he's pushing up on the left. Core EU in there trying to do some damage. A little bit of a pick onto the enemy there. Out comes the nade, as there we go. Ankosh then gets taken down as soon as he's revived. Poor Ankosh. And he won't be able to be revived again due to the mechanics in Battlefield 4. And now we're watching, looks like Nure having a little bit of a run-in with the enemy members of Rock. Now you can see more members of Rock supporting and trying to move up towards that B point. Nure doing a great job of defending that point, taking down Core as he pushes in. And there wasn't really a lot they can do. That being very well defended by Nure, guarding that left-hand side of the point. And it's looking pretty good as far as they're concerned, wouldn't you say, Dogbert?
It is indeed a very important pick up there by Henke. Over at A, Rock managed to get a good spawn right behind A, but luckily Henke literally just seen them and took out 2. And even though they're holding A and B here, as you've seen, as soon as he killed those 2 people, they literally spawned in the same place again, and that means they're going to take A. Dignitas are going to try and contest this with 2 men, but one of them's already down, so it depends on what Masu wants to do here. He has Hendrik, which just respawned on him, so maybe they're going to recontest A. They have to right now because they have literally no flags, so they have to go all in at A, and I think they'll probably hold A, and I think Rock here need to set up their defensive line and try and hold B before Dignitas stop piling in on it again.
Now we're looking at Horek, who's trying to defend against what is essentially going to be the Dignitas pain train. And needless to say, he's playing it smart, he's running, because he wants to try and it's not going to do him much good as he gets basically snuck up on by Valu, and who absolutely drills him full of holes. And now you can see Valu moving in on his own towards the A point to try and take out Akosh. There we go, takes him down, moves in towards the A point, and now is in a position to take that A point and prevent a full bleed being present on Team Dignitas, as they're looking at 122 tickets to 51, so still Dignitas having the advantage. Good play there by Valu, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, very good play. I mean, David and Core managed to take C, but I think they maybe overcommitted to the attack on C. It gave Dignitas enough time to capture A and B, and you got to remember right now, it's for Dignitas, they really just need to hold the ticket bleed going in their favour. They don't really need to do much else. They can sit there and try and win each an individual firefight, but really all they need is get the ticket bleed. But right now, Core is reacting perfectly. They got enough people in the right places. They're probably going to hold C here. Is it a 2v1? Yep, Hendrik got down, so that's China side. Rock is going to take C and B, and the ticket bleed is going to stay with them.
Now, look at this. Valu going clutch, doing a fantastic job there, cutting down many members of Rock as they pushed into that A point. Now, that's interesting to see that Valu, you can see Masu down at the C point, Valu holding on to the B point, but about to be attacked from one side. But no, he takes down, that was Horek taking down Giggly, and Nure also being taken down by Akosh, and that's a pretty intensive push there onto the B point, and now Corey Yu is about to get into a world of hurt, as yet more, it looks like Giggly and Valu moving into that point, and there we go, down go 2 members of Rock, as Masu also moving in on that point as well. No, it turns out that actually 2 members of Dignitas went down there, Dogbert.
They did indeed. Dignitas and Core were both Rock and Dignitas were both doing the same thing, which is they were putting their pressure onto Dignitas on C and Rock onto A. Both teams won the fight they wanted, and the other guy was just trying to hold it. But it's all about the repositioning after the flag capture. Dignitas still had B. That meant Core were the ones that Rock were going to be the ones that would have to come out onto the B flag to capture it. Dignitas reposition quicker. Unfortunately for Dignitas, Rock's spawn point is right behind C, so they capture it instantly. So it's all about the B flag now. Who's going to hold it? And it looks like Rock are the team that are going to be all over it.
You can see now 2 members of Dignitas moving in towards the B point at the moment. You can see they're trying to be defended. As you can see, oh, there we go. Akash unfortunately killed Nore, but was being attacked from multiple directions. And David 2K6 also, you can see them now getting the bleed onto Team Dignitas. As you can see, Dignitas pulling back towards the A site and seeing if they can actually continue to hold this, push back onto the Rock team. But you can obviously see Valu seems to be in a rather interesting location and playing it safe, playing it smart, but being quiet about it. Very interesting to watch this dog. But oh, look at that! Oh, nice timing by Valu. Steps out, kills one person to his left, kills one person to his right, and shuts down any attempts by Rock to push into that B bomb site, helping his team to actually maintain that bleed onto the Chinese team. Good play there, I thought, Dogbert.
Yeah, and with that, that pretty much closes out this round for Dignitas with a probably about 66 points here. Rock are going to come all out here to try and get some kills, but there's nothing they can do at this point, I think. It was very fluid, but Dignitas had the ticket bleed for the significant amount of time. When Dignitas lost it, Rock held it for quite a while, but not long enough, and then after that they played ring around the flag and just didn't really capture anything.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but obviously a good play there by the Rock team. Have to say, very impressed by them. Obviously going up against a pretty established team like Dignitas, they've got to be quite pleased with their performance in reality, really. Dignitas
are working as a well-oiled machine. They are doing just very, very well. Not taking anything away from Rock, they're doing very, very well. But coming into the last round of the map, they are 159 tickets behind Dignitas.
Indeed. Indeed. Not good. Not good at all. So, we are on to the final round. This is where... Now, the thing is, 159, they're going to have to play out of their socks in order to take this by over 159 tickets, especially against a team of the calibre of Dignitas, wouldn't you say? Apparently not. So,
sorry, I was really trusting.
That's fine, mate, it's fine, no worry about it.
Rock is a player down right now, so I don't think this is live.
Okay, that's fair.
And if it is, then I don't know why most people haven't spawned or removed.
So yeah, we're just waiting.
Yeah, so for Rock right now, obviously it's not Core. I keep saying Core, it is Rock. They really, really need to have the most perfect game ever. They are so far behind. But they really, really need to just go all out. They need to get not full domination, but just 2 flags and hold it for as long as they can. Yeah, that's definitely going to have to be the case. They got to play the game of their lives in order to turn this around. So obviously we're waiting for everybody to get themselves back onto the server, and then we should be underway with the last round of this domination match between Rock and Team Dignitas. Now, obviously we need to confirm whether or not the map is actually or the matches are continuing during the course of the night, or whether or not it's actually going to be a 2-parter. We'll have to confirm that, but obviously we'll come back to you on that one, as obviously some people need to go to bed because they've got other things to do in the morning, you know. So we're just waiting to see what's going to happen with that. So yeah, as you can see, I mean, a pretty interesting map to actually play. There's not really a lot of use of any of the verticality options on here. If I'm right in thinking, I don't think there's any lifts in here, except for that burning building. You don't really want to go anywhere near that one. But we'll just have to wait and see, as it looks like yeah, there are no lifts per se on top of any of these buildings, so you can't use them to any point of your advantage to parachute down onto other points for this particular map. So pretty much everything is going to be done at the ground level, which makes things like, for example, choke points a lot easier. But you do still have that open area and that little sky bridge in between the 2 sections, between A and B, or A and C, I should say, past the television and past the magnetic scanners. So quite interesting to see, very interesting to watch, and we're still waiting for another member of Rock to return, and then we should be underway. So thank you for staying with us. My apologies for the technical problems that we've had today. I do hope it hasn't ruined too much of it for you. I do apologise about that, trying to figure out what's going on that, and kick relevant bottoms, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. So we're just waiting for the last member of Rock to rejoin the server.
They will then restart the round, and we will be underway with the final round of this match. Let's see. So this is interesting that they've actually, the Levolution thing has actually been done automatically. So you don't have to trigger it when doing the 5v5, which is rather interesting.
Where is the Levolution thing on this map? I haven't seen it.
Have you never seen it?
No, not on this one.
Okay. If you go down, you know, down the road, you know where the bridge is that's collapsed? Oh.
Nope, no, I'm not going to have a chance
Nope.
because the game is about to start.
Basically, at either end of the road, there's a little manhole sort of cover or a slot section, and you go down there, and there's actually a gas controller. And if you set that to shut or off or something like that, and then you go down the other end of the road and set the other end of it to off, then it eventually, over the course of time, it overloads and then blows up, basically.
Okay. So yeah, hopefully we won't get any awkward drops, but Dignitas are coming into this map with a significant lead.
Indeed, 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 indeed. And that significant lead, obviously, 159 tickets. And considering that everybody starts with 200, that's a serious hurdle. Now, let's follow Valu as he's making his way past the flames and destruction and burnt out buses. As there we go. Now look at that. It looks like, oh goodness me, all of Dignitas literally went straight for the B point, and only one of them actually peeled off to go for the A point. That's Nura. So now you can see them going pretty hardcore into that point, as unfortunately Giggly get taken down, and now that's quite a turnaround there. It looks like the core team caught them napping and took them out from both directions. Very surprising there, Dogbert.
Yes, this is the start that Rock need. They are so far behind right now, but as soon as the tickets on the screen for the Rock team goes below 159, they are out of the test cup. So for them, they have to keep these two flags, and they need to hold them tight. Like, letting Dignitas here into B here is going to be a big problem. If that goes down, then you're looking for a very, very bad game for them. They need to get a significant ticket lead. They need to clean up whenever there's a loose player, either on one of their rear or front flags. Right now, they just need to have a very tight and fast-moving game. Sorry, defensive game, not fast-moving. Fast-moving is definitely not what they need right now.
Yeah, definitely. You can see now Akash, who's up by the A point, and now the B point is being contested by Valu and the members of Dignitas, and they're in there, as you can see, trying to heal each other up and get it back into a operating state. And you can see now that they've actually got the bleed back onto the US team, and that's going to start going down very quickly. As
True,
it
but
looks
Horek
like.
and Dave moved immediately to C, which is what they needed to do. They need to make sure that at no point in this game does Dignitas get the bleed against them, and that's what they're trying to do. Unfortunately for Rock, they are not being able to make much on their impression at this attack at A. They're just waiting. They're going to go in. Is Core being out? Core did it. Core comes in. That's 2-on-1 right now with Masu as the only defender on this flag. He's got Henke spawning with him as well. I think it's just too much. I think Dignitas here, the ticket bleed is continuing now. Rock are going down to 170 tickets. As soon as that is down to 159, remember that Dignitas are advancing.
Yeah.
That ticket bleed is hurting Rock right now.
Yeah, so you can see David 2K6 now waiting as a nade comes flying past him, and a nade literally getting thrown right at his nose and taken down very quickly. So that was a good play there by Dignitas. They pushed into that point pretty intensely and took down Orek and David 2K6. So any attempts to try and hold that point.
Rock cannot advance any further in the tournament. Dignitas have beaten them out here with now a full cap completely. And if before we get, obviously the game is still going, they're playing for just the fun, I guess, or maybe there's something I'm not aware of, but Masu has been in the right place at the right time and has got some clutch plays for Dignitas here, just as he goes down to bite me ya.
Indeed, indeed. And that's the kind of thing that you want, is a player who can go in there, make the clutch play at the clutch moment, so to speak. It's all very well making big plays when it doesn't actually matter to anybody. But it's making those big plays at the time when everyone's stressed and there's pressure on and you need to actually win the match in order to progress. So obviously a good display there by Dignitas, and they're obviously going to be moving on to the next round. But I'd have to say, I think it's fair to say that Rock should not go away with this with their heads hung in shame. I think they've acquitted themselves extremely well in this competition.
Dignitas are looking very strong right now, but that takes nothing away from Rock. Rock have been a solid team with a lot of players that have done really, really well. I think it's just how they develop into the future, and maybe, seriously, right now, Rock are a good team. They are going to be a top 5 to top 10 BF4 team easily. They're giving Dignitas a very difficult game here, and it's not a walkover at all. They are giving them a very tough fight.
Yeah, definitely have to say, very impressed by this display. Obviously, no, good to see Corey Yu in there as well doing his thing. So you can see Core, we're watching Core at the moment. He's obviously going to try and get out. He can't get to Bite Me Yard to revive him. He's going for Valu, and there we go, nice drop onto Valu as he was making his way over towards the next point. And you can see now Corey Yu trying to take cover, as there we go, taking down, looks like Nuri being taken down as well, as Corey Yu is coming under fire from all directions, taken down by Giggly and Masu from both directions. Not looking good for them, and now we find out as it looks like Rock are going to try and take the A point and then push up towards the C. Possibly, we'll have to wait and see. Now Henke is waiting at the C point. You also then got Giggly in there as well, and Masu also.
Dignitas here are just holding up their defensive being C. Obviously, if you actually look on the map, Henke is kind of hanging around at C. He's kind of expecting, because obviously a lot of Rock players are going down, but maybe there'll be a surprise spawn around C. It might catch them by surprise, but that hasn't happened just yet. Obviously now Rock are putting a lot of pressure onto B, so he's going to have to come out, and I think he just cleaned up. Who did he take out there? Bite Me, what a name. But yeah, Dignitas now just kind of riding the wave, really.
Indeed, indeed. Now obviously we got Corey Yu just getting taken out as he pushed in towards that point. So now you can see Masu and Henke down by the A point. You can now see the other members of Rock moving in towards the C. So they're going to try and take that point. And you can now see the China team currently with 76 tickets remaining. Well, sorry, the American team with 76 tickets remaining, and the Chinese team with 122. So, like you said, all pretty much over as far as Rock are concerned, but like you said, maybe playing for honour, difficult to say, or playing to get shot in the face and grenaded to death from multiple directions. But
I think I get to enjoy first person watching it more now. I have spent the majority of the time.
I just saw.
It's crazy. What was it with me in spawning on top of like the most crazy firefights in this game?
That was Giggly, wasn't it? It literally, I just saw him jumping over the top of 3 Rock guys and literally just gunned 2 of them down and just missed taking out the 3rd with a pistol. So that was fantastic.
I'm just watching Masu right now, and he has been the linchpin on this map for Dignitas. He's managed to make a lot of really big clutch plays, and really, is he going to do it again? Oh, he did! He takes out Horek and Core at the same time. This guy is on fire tonight. Yeah,
some very impressive gunplay here by Masu. Always good to see. You need that kind of clutch player in the game, giving you a little bit of advantage. Nice shot into Bite Me Yar at distance. That must have been at least sort of 30 to 50 feet. He's staying out of the way of those grenades as they're coming in his general direction. And now basically is moving around looking for somebody else to murder. And now you can see 43 tickets remaining on the board. As you can see, it looks like Masu then moving into the point again. Unfortunately being cut down. As you can see, Nure moving in from the left as well, then being taken down. And you can see, Giggly comes in from the back and back rages the remaining members. members of the Rock. But it looks like no, they've actually have survived, and they're taking down multiple members of Dignitas. And so these guys, it looks like they're going to try and capture the C point back again. And Masu doing something over there. Looks like he's on the sky bridge looking for prospective victims. No, it looks like it's actually David 2K6 who's actually up there at the moment. Making his way over to the next point as a nade comes flying over. And he manages to kill Henker. He ate the effect of that nade, but unfortunately then followed up with eating some bullets, and unfortunately didn't go much further in that respect. So looking pretty good, I think it's fair to say. Dignitas with a strong showing onto the next round, and you can see them just bleeding tickets away at the moment. And yeah, there's not really much else you can say.
It's been a first map was the first round went in Dignitas' favour, and from then on they've really just been setting the pace and tone of the entire matchup. Rock have had moments of brilliance where they have done very, very well, but it's not been as consistent as Dignitas. As soon as they took the lead in either round, they pretty much kept it.
Indeed, indeed they have. Now, obviously, we're going to be finding out what's next. I need to clarify how long the cup is, whether or not the cup continues until finished, or whether or not it moves on to a second day. We'll have to confirm that detail. But obviously, we'll be trying to bring you as much of the coverage as we possibly can. So, we're waiting for the tickets essentially just to bleed out, as now you can watch the likes of Giggly, or Giquilly. Apologies for that. I must be getting old. That's what it is. It's past my bedtime. So it's been a very, this map I think is going to be generally quite very defensive, as we've seen. The previous map is a lot more aggressive, and I think that kind of maybe favoured Rock's playstyle. Dignitas, on the other hand, really seem quite flexible. They seem to play. They like to hold the two flags, and they go for a third only when they are being contested, which, to be honest, is standard battlefield doctrine. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, obviously, you know, Goldman is a bit more of an open map as well in that respect. So, you know, it's still within certain sections, and there's still quite a few buildings in there as well. But so no, that was a good display there by Dignitas, and obviously they move on to the next round on the competition.